Today's project, spooky mixed media monster eyes. Hi everybody, it's Lori from the art studio at Madison Children's Museum. Today we're going to be doing a really fun multimedia art project to create these very cool monster eyes. Now, in honor of our eye-themed project, I have an eye corsage here. We're not going to be making these today, but it's a fun tie-in to our eye theme. All right, let me tell you the materials that you're going to need to do this project today. We're going to be using watercolor and watercolor paper. Now, if you don't have any watercolor paper, you could also use another type of thick paper like the back of a piece of poster board or tag board or even heavy construction paper. And you'll need a watercolor set and brushes. And our mixed media part is going to involve drawing materials. Now, at the very least, you're going to need markers and crayons. But if you have colored pencils, or if you have gel pens, or any other kind of drawing materials, there's a lot of ways to incorporate those into the eyeball art project we're going to do today. Now, the final thing that you're going to need that's pretty important is a little bit of white tempera paint. Tempera paint is like watercolor, but it's opaque, so you can't see through it. And we're going to need a little bit of that for our last step. Now let's get started making our monster eyes. We're going to be making circles on our paper. So what I have to make my circles is that I went to the recycling bin and I found lots of different containers of various sizes that I can trace to create circles. You can even use things like different coins or the bottoms of dishes. You can make your eyes just about any size. So you can find different round things of various sizes to try different types and colors and sizes of eyes. So I'm going to start out by using a pencil to trace this container on my heavy paper to make the size of my eye. And since we're going to experiment, I'm going to make a couple of these on our paper. This is a really fun way to try out lots of different techniques and different color combinations to make your eyes. So it's going to be very playful and experimental today. Here's some smaller eyes. Make these, and maybe we'll get one more to start with. Okay, so let's lay down the background colors for our eyes. We're going to get our watercolor sets out. It could be liquid watercolor, or it could be the kind that comes in a set like this one. We will start by doing a wet on wet technique. So what you're going to need to do first is to take a brush without any color on it and get some water on your brush and paint water all over the inside of one of your circles. Now when we dampen the paper like that, that's going to help our colors blend really beautifully together. I'm going to start with some yellow watercolor. I'm going to drop some on. You can use any color combination that you want here to make your monster eyes. I'm going to blend a couple different colors together. See how that yellow and the orange are blending? How about I add a little something else? Let me see, how about some green? Now, since these eyes belong to creatures and they're not human eyes or animal eyes, they could be just about any weird color combination that you want. So we can have a lot of fun making our backgrounds on our different circles and experimenting with different color combinations. Let's see, what should I do this time? How about a purple background? Let me make that a little darker. And add some blue. And you can spend as long as you want blending your colors. Ooh, look how that water makes the colors blend like that. Isn't that cool? I like how that one looks. I don't think I'm going to add anything else to that one. And then I'll do one more. Let's see. And this one I'll start with a little gray in the center. Oh, I forgot to put my water down. Well, that's all right. I can still add it. Remember, we're playing. One of the great things about this project is that it's very friendly to making mistakes. There, since I forgot to put my water on first, I put it on second and it blended a little gray in the background. Let's see, what should I do? I'll add some green to this one. This time I'll try making some swirlies into the center. Ooh, look at how the water, I just love to watch the watercolor blending this way. So you can have fun making backgrounds for your eyes, as many as you want, on some different pieces of paper, and we'll need to set them aside to thoroughly dry before we do the next part. Sometimes watercolor, if it's on watercolor paper, may even take as much as a couple hours to fully dry. So you could put a fan on it if you wanted to make that go a little quicker. Let me show you some that I did yesterday that are ready to go on to our next step. And you can see I went out of the lines here. It doesn't matter because we're going to be cutting them out at the last step, and that's going to cover up any mistakes that we made. All right, to make our eye look more realistic, we're going to be making the edge of our circle darker on the outside, blending to the inside. Now this is where our mixed media comes in, because you can use different ways to darken the edge of your circle. I'm going to start off by using a marker, and I'm going to go around the edge of my circle to make sort of a dark line. And I'm going to blend it in a little bit. You could also use crayons to do this step. You could use oil pastels, or you could even go back over with watercolor to make the edge darker. I'll demonstrate that on my next one. And after I make this really dark line around the edge, I think I will use, let me try crayons to do the next step. I'm going to choose a dark color. And remember, since it's a monster eye, you can use any kind of weird color combination that you want. I'm going to use this purple. So I'm going to color heavily on the edge, and then I'm going to color a little bit more lightly into the center. And see how that's starting to make the edge of the circle look more three-dimensional and realistic. If you have any kind of metallic or pearlescent crayons or drawing materials, this would be a great project to bring those out for, so we can have some very magical looking eyes. And when I get all the way around, I'll look back and see if I'm happy with how dark that edge looks. I think that looks all right. Now we're going to create lines and veins in the middle of our eye. If you look at a real eye, you'll see so many complex lines and patterns inside. I'm going to use a black colored pencil to do this part. Now this is really fun and easy because all we're going to do is start in the middle and we're going to scribble all around to the outside of the eye from the inside. Watch. Scribble, scribble. You don't have to make this look fancy or proper. We're just going to make some crazy lines. And I'm going to add more. I think this should have some maybe red squiggles. Again, you can make these look as abstract as you want. It's a very forgiving project. Let's see if this pink shows up. Not too much. And I happen to have some metallic markers here, so if I can find them, here they are. I'm going to make some little flecks with my metallic marker for this eye. Really, you can do whatever you want. You can be as creative as you want with the patterns that you add to your eye. It's time to make the center of our eye called the pupil. Now, you can make your pupil very small, or you could make it larger. You can decide what you want it to look like. We're going to use something round like we did before and a pencil to trace our pupil. Now it goes right in the very center of your eye. I'm going to use my pencil to trace around. And now I'm going to color in the pupil of my eye with a black marker. I'm going to draw the line all the way around, and then I'll fill it in. You want this to be solid black. You could also fill this in if you had black tempera paint. You could use that to do this part. And this could be a fun project that you could collaborate with different ages. If you have younger brothers, older brothers, siblings, or friends, you could do this project where you each do different parts of it and combine it. Okay, so our eye doesn't look quite finished until we use that white tempera paint to do our final touch. Now what we're going to be doing is using our white tempera paint and a brush to make little dots on our eye that are going to look like the reflections that you see in a real eye. And watch when you do this how realistic it makes your eye look. You're going to go to the upper left of the center of your eyeball and you're going to make a dot. Here it goes. Just a dot. It doesn't even have to be perfectly round. See how that's already making it look realistic? And then I'm going to add another little glint, a little white glint in that part of the eye. And if it doesn't look quite right, you can make it bigger or smaller. And just that little dab of white when you hold it up is going to make your eye look so much more realistic. It adds a really fun touch. So you can have so much fun making different kinds of eyes. You might even want to do variations like making the pupil of your eye a different shape other than round. If you look at different types of animal eyes, you can see that the center, the pupil part, can be different shapes. Like a cat's eye is long and skinny. And if you want to see some really strange looking eyes, look at the eyes that goats have. They have square or oblong pupils that look like a rectangle. And maybe your creature has who knows what kind of crazy pupil it could have. You could use your imagination. Now when you finish your eyes, to give it that final finished touch, you can use scissors and cut very carefully around the outside, and that gets rid of any little mistakes that you might have made going out the lines like I did. And when it's all cut out, then you can put it on another piece of paper and it will have this wonderful contrast. You could even add these eyes that you've painted to maybe other drawings that you've done to make the eyes of your creature. So see how beautiful that looks? And then we'll put it on our black paper to see our finished product. I really hope you enjoy making lots of different kinds of eyes with this project and using up all your fun art materials you might have around the house. If you did this project, take a picture and share it with us. You can post it here in the comments. See you later, everybody. Have fun making art.